What's up, YouTube? Night Edge here. Got another little quick review for you of a pretty cool knife. Before I get into it, I appreciate everyone that's subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more of me rambling. And also my Patreons. Big shout out to y'all. Appreciate everyone that's in Patreon. If you're interested, the link's down below. If you want to help support the channel, all proceeds from Patreon go towards knives and shipping. And I really do appreciate everyone that's joined. So before I get too far off in the weeds, I guess I should probably introduce the knife. This one is the CJRB Pyrite Light. So they've had the Pyrite, they've had the Pyrite XL, they've had the Bowie Pyrite, the Rose Gold Bowie Pyrite, the alternative Pyrite. This one is the Pyrite Light. It comes in two variants, this green with the black colored blade, and blue with a black colored blade. Now this one I've really enjoyed, probably more than the other two. I don't know why, but this one has been definitely fun to carry. I really like it. Brought it to the river with us over the 4th of July weekend. Definitely came in handy there. Pretty good, seemingly like a pretty decently reliable little knife, right? So before I get off on a tangent here, let me go ahead and pull some measurements on it. So overall length on the Pyrite Light, if you're looking from the tip of the blade all the way to the butt of the handle, you're looking at 7 5/8. Blade length, if you go from right here where it meets the scales on the finger choil on the blade right there, you're looking right at 3.5 inches, and sharpening edge right at 3 inches, maybe a hair under. So pretty good size knife. Almost what I would say is a full size knife, and it kind of feels like it in the hand, kind of carries like one. Do some size comparisons here in a minute. So let me make sure those are zeroed out. Thickest part of the spine, 96.5 thousandths, fairly thin, right? So you go behind the edge, and you're looking right at 17 thousandths, so pretty decently thin blade stock, I would say. Do the handle real quick before I forget. 0.42 of an inch, under half an inch. You know, no real big factor there as far as thickness of the handle goes. You know, not incredibly thick, not incredibly thin. You know, like most knives, the handle's not, you know, the thickness of the handle's not insanely off. Now there are some knives, the reason I do that, like the Beowulf, or you know, there are a couple knives out there that, you know, the handle's like way too thin or way too thick. That's kind of like why I do that, if anybody's interested in knowing that. So we got the Cold Steel 8010, Dimco Knives 80-20.5. You can see there it's kind of in between them, pretty close to the size of the 20.5, although the 20.5 is a little bit smaller, and definitely way smaller than the 8010. Spyderco Paramilitary 2, Spyderco Para 3. So kind of in between, I guess, but I don't know, it's definitely got more cutting edge than the Para 3, definitely longer. So in between, I'd say it seems like it's a little closer to the size of the Para 2, Paramilitary 2, but it is seemingly right in between the two. That is the Ontario Knives Rat Model 2, Ontario Knives Rat Model 1, kind of in between those, right? So there's your size comparisons. Go ahead and get the scale out. We'll weigh this bad boy. See what we're looking at here. The Pyrite Light, 2.8 ounces. So right, actually just under the ounce and inch ratio. So that's good. You know, you got right about 2.9 inch cutting edge, well, 3.5 inch blade, so it's definitely under the ounce and inch ratio, so that's a good thing. Definitely good ratios on that for sure. That up, get the old blue jeans out here, standard CJRB deep carry pocket clip, no issues there, right? It's essentially disappears in the pocket whenever you look at it, so that's a good thing. Alright, got the hardware checker out here, and I did have some issues putting this thing back together on a live stream. So that's a T8 there. Let's see, let me double check this. What is that? Yeah, that's a T6. So I'm gonna swap her out, put the T8 in there. Did have some serious issues putting this thing back together on a live stream. It was fairly embarrassing, but you know, if you can't embarrass yourself in front of a bunch of people, well, a decent amount of people on a live stream, you know, what are you really doing with your life, right? So T6 on the pocket clip, T8 everywhere else all the way around, so that's a good thing. Be careful on the pocket clip screws, and also as a note that I have now that I've disassembled this thing and reassembled it, and then disassembled and reassembled it again, the screw on this side would not come out without channel locks, which I wasn't willing to do that, of the pivot barrel, right? So that's something to watch. And it's not a captive pivot neither, so that's something else to keep in mind. I actually put together the Pyrite buoy and the regular Pyrite, pulled them apart, put them back together, no issues. So, you know, I don't know what happened with that one. Might have been that I was 4 hours into a live stream when I decided to reassemble the thing. You know, maybe that wasn't the best of ideas. So I went and got after that was over, went and got a sandwich, a snack, took my eyes off of it for a minute, came back, and it pretty much went right back together, you know. You definitely got to remember when you're putting this back together and you're getting to the part where you're putting the button that's got the little spring in it there and the blade on, you have to put that little part right there in the notch. There's a little notch on the edge of the blade that goes into the pivot, and you have to put those on at the same time and set it, and then put the liner on it and then the scale, and that's what locks that in place and keeps it from going anywhere, right? That is something I seemingly forgot on a live stream, so definitely a helpful tip on there. I also, you know, if you want to see that, you can check out my live stream, watch all my mistakes. You know, maybe it'll help somebody out, who knows. But anyway, yeah, overall, all the specs out of the way and that little story out of the way, this is an awesome knife. You know, this is $30 right now on Amazon, which is the cheapest of the Pyrites, I believe. As of the time of me putting this video out anyway. It's not to say they'll go up, down, whatever, but you know, ARPM 9 on the blade steel, not a powder metallurgy steel, but a spray metallurgy steel comparable to 9CR from what I understand. My experience with it's been fairly good. You know, I wouldn't say it's quite as good as 14C 28N, but it is pretty good. So it's a pretty good steel on budget knives, you know, especially $30 budget knives. And this thing has great ergonomics. You know, I got a full 4-finger grip, choke back. I wear a large size glove, which is average size hands, I guess. Choked up, it's got that nice little spot right there. That is perfect. You feel very well locked in, you know, no issues there. It's really nice. A little bit of jimping on top of the blade, that's good. This FRN is textured really good, you know, which is you know, sounds simple, but it is easy to mess up FRN. There's a bunch of knives I really like. Deca, Hogue Deca, sorry, knives I really like that don't have the FRN, you know, kind of chamfered, rounded off, you know, have sharp edges and stuff like that. So I'm glad they did that really good, and that little pattern, that texture right there feels nice. You know, it's a very well put together little knife in my opinion, especially for a $30 Amazon knife. You know, no issues whatsoever, and it looks pretty aesthetically good. Got a little lanyard hole right there if you're into that sort of thing, and you can do left-handed carry too, right? You can just take that clip and put it over here. So really great knife. The only real issue I've had with it, aside from my you know, very terrible disassembly or reassembly, as you know, which I put totally on me, is the button stick. But that's kind of, I've gotten that out a lot, and disassembling, reassembling help, and actuating it and deactuating it's help too. So you can still hear it a little bit right there. Like, watch right there. Whenever I go to close it, you can still kind of hear it, right? A little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as it was out of the box. And you know, I put a little KPL in there, and also, you know, reassembled it, disassembled it, reassembled it, put some Slick-A-Mall in there on the springs, you know, and all that. Plus, I've actuated it, you know, probably a few hundred times altogether, so that's, you know, helped out too. And a lot of the lock stick, I call it, you know, lock stick will work out in these things after, you know, actuation, reactuation. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna put this on my most recommended knives playlist. Great budget knife, great little cheap budget knife for sure. And definitely also have the regular pyrite and the other one. I'm gonna do a comparison video on that coming soon.